Hello and welcome to character creation for Baldur's Gate. If you haven't worked it out, Baldur's Gate is the next game that we're going to be playing on the channel, and it is something that I should be quite familiar with, because I played D&D, I played Pathfinder, and it also inspired pretty much every RPG that I've played up to this point. So, in that, it should be fairly straightforward going through character creation. It should all look quite familiar to me. So, let's get started. Gender. We're going to play a male. Males of the realm can excel in whatever profession they choose, whether wizardry, thievery, or the arts of war. What I thought was quite interesting is it gives you this description and you go, oh, okay, well this must imply, that is not true if I choose the other option. Turns out, no, it's true either way. So, it's just an odd way of phrasing it, isn't it? It's just, anyone can excel in whatever profession they choose, whether wizardry, thievery, or the arts of war. Which is good. Right, done. We need to choose a face. What's kind of odd is it gets you to choose the face first, right? Before you even get into your character. It's like, choose how you want them to look, then choose what you want them to do. I don't know. That guy looks nuts. That is... okay. That's an awesome looking fellow. Okay, I don't know what kind of character we want to play. Do we want to play a fighter? You know what, I like this one. You know why I like this one? Because it says we can do whatever we want. It's not a mage, it's not an archer, it's not, a swords person. It's just somebody looking inquisitively with a little bit of a, twinkle in his eye up to the stars. Cool, we're choosing him. Right, race. Well, with that, I've chosen human. Are we a human? We could be an elf. I don't know. I don't want to be a gnome. So, humans are the predominant race in Faerun. I believe, is this the Forgotten Realms? I think that's the background for this. It's the D&D, it's a proper D&D books that have been written for it for Forgotten Realms. It's got a whole background, it's got a whole world. So, I think this is what all of this is based on. Humans are the predominant race in Faerun. Humans rule most of the significant empires and kingdoms in the realm. They are the most social and tolerant of the races, excepting perhaps the Halflings. Humans may advance as any class and are also the only race that can dual class. Humans may not multi-class. Well, I have no interest in dual classing. I don't know actually what the difference between dual class and multi-class is, but yeah, we'll see. Elves. Elves tend to be shorter and slimmer than humans. Their features are finely chiseled and delicate, and they speak in melodic tones. Elves are looked upon as being frivolous and aloof. They concern themselves with natural beauty, dancing, frolicking, and other similar pursuits. Their humor is clever, as are their songs and poetry. There are 6 racial divisions of elves within the realms: gold elves, moon elves, wild elves, sea elves, dark elves, drow, and winged elves, Avarail. Okay, so an elf gets a 90% resistance against charm and sleep magics, infravision, 1 back O with bows, short swords, and long swords. Now, I used to know what that means. I think it's something like 2 hits at armor class or something like that. So I think it's a bonus to hit against something, or anyway, I'll look it up before we get fully into it. I'm sure it actually explains somewhere in here as well. 5% to open locks, 5% to pickpockets, 5% to move silently, and 10% to move hide in shadows. So this makes it think that if you're going to play an elf, it basically says you should be into thieving, because you get a huge bonus to thieving. I don't really want to do that. What about half-elf? Half-elves are a mix of human and elven blood. They're handsome folk with good features from each of their parent races. A half-elf has the curiosity, intentiveness, and ambition of their human ancestors, and refined senses, love of nature, and artistic taste of their elven ancestors. So, this is pretty much, I don't really want to be an elf, but I'd quite like to be sneaky. So, I don't really want to choose that. Dwarf. Dwarves are short and stocky, easily identifiable by their size and shape. They have ruddy cheeks, dark eyes, and dark hair. Dwarves tend to be dour and taciturn. They are given to hard work and care little for most humour. They enjoy beer, ale, mead, but most of all, they love gold. There are 4 racial divisions of dwarves within the realms: shield dwarfs, gold dwarfs, wild dwarfs, and droger. So, dwarves get a +2 bonus to saving throws versus paralysis, poison, death, versus rod, staff, wand, and versus spell with additional bonuses based on constitution. So they get a ton of saving throws against everything. Infravision, 10% open locks, 15% find traps, 5% detect illusion, and 10% set traps. So unlike this one where it's like, I want to be sneaky with its open lock, actually that's minus 5% open lock, so you can't even open locks as an elf. You have to, this is purely, I'm going to be hiding and picking pockets. Okay, so maybe half-elf is I still want to be able to open locks. So half-elf is almost a better thief if you want to break into something. While a dwarf is like, I can turn up somewhere, break in, find the traps, find the hidden wall, set some more traps of my own, and I'm just going to walk in. I don't have the charm, I don't have the dexterity, but I'm kind of just going to keep walking at it till the problem is solved. Okay, halfling. Halflings are short, generally plump people, very much like small humans. Their faces are round and broad, and often quite florid. Their hair is typically curly and the tops of their feet are covered with coarse hair. Overall, they prefer the comforts of home to dangerous adventuring. They enjoy good living, rough humour, and homespun tales. There are 3 racial divisions of halflings within the realms: the harefoot, tall fellow, and stout. Halflings have the following traits: +2 bonus to saving throws versus paralysis, poison, death. I like having a saving throw bonus against death. Versus rod, staff, and wand, and versus spell with additional bonuses based on constitution. A +1, I think, hit bonus effectively with slings. +5% to open locks, +5% traps, +5% pickpockets, 10% move silently, 15% hide in shadow. So like, I did this straight up better than both the dwarf and the elf. Yeah, well, not on find traps, but okay, so not necessarily straight up better, but better than the elf in most of what the elf does, and then has some of the dwarf. Okay, but for that you lose strength and wisdom. Well, an elf doesn't lose that strength and that wisdom, they just lose some con. So it's a different kind of character you're getting there. You're getting somebody who's very good at skills, but not so good at like strength-based things. Gnome. Kin to dwarfs, gnomes are noticeably smaller than their distant cousins. Gnomes, as they proudly maintain, are also less rotund than dwarfs. Most have dark tan or brown skin, white hair, and rather large noses. Gnomes have lively and sly senses of humour, especially for practical jokes. They have a love for nature that is only matched by their love for gems and jewellery. There are 2 racial divisions of gnomes within the realm: rock gnomes and deep gnomes. So that's Severfniblin. Okay. So this is, again, same kind of stuff you get in this one, but you get intelligence instead. Yeah, so you kind of get even more jack of all trades. They're the best if you want to find illusions, basically. Okay, and then half-orc. Half-orcs are born from the union of human and orc parents. They are as tall as humans, but a little heavier due to their muscular builds. Their greenish pigmentation, sloping forehead, jutting jaw, predominant teeth, and coarse body hair make their lineage plain for all to see. In the Sword Coast, half-orcs are tolerated, unlike in the north. The local people haven't had centuries of warfare with orc kind. Half-orcs are known for their great strength. So this is, I don't care about being smart, I want to hit things. I don't care about anything else, I want to hit things. Okay. Interesting. So, I was kind of thinking I might be an elf originally, but I'm not feeling the elf stuff. This isn't really stuff I need. Hiding shadows and pickpockets for half-elves as well? No. Human is tempting, but only because I don't really care about open locks there. Dwarf is actually potentially cool. You'd have to play an uncharismatic character, potentially. But you get open locks, find traps, detect illusions, set traps, so you've got the ability to definitely go in there and deal with things. Halfling, I'm not really into. Gnome, maybe, but And half-orc has some temptation. You know what? Half-orc could be interesting. But the problem is I really like to, in these types of games, get a bit of the lore. And you tend to lose lore if you lower intelligence. As in, if you don't speak to people, you tend not to get the background. So you need to be able to speak to people. Again, with dwarf, you lose charisma, so you tend to not be able to speak with people, which means we probably have to be a human, an elf, or a half-elf, right? I mean, we could be a gnome, or we could be a halfling, but again, I don't really want, with this... I mean, we could be a gnome. But, maybe. I think we're gonna be... No, how about we be an elf? You know why we want to be an elf? I've decided. I want to be an elf. I don't care about this. I can ignore that. The +1 Thaco bonus is okay. With bows, short swords, long swords. That gives us a good idea of what type of weaponry to use. But the main one, I just noticed here, 90% resistance against charm and sleep magics. I hate charm. I think it's nearly always awful. So... yeah, we'll take that. We're a little bit low on con, so maybe we'll play somebody who sits back a little bit with a bow. Yeah, maybe we'll play an elf. Or an elf. We don't have pointy ears. Is that going to bother me? Not really. Right, we're an elf. Class. So we've got a lot of classes we can choose. I don't want a multi-class. I want to be good at one thing. I don't want to be a sorcerer, because a sorcerer is going to be using all sorts of magic-y stuff. I want to use my bow. Thief. I don't really want to be a thief. Because I don't really want to set traps, and I don't want to sneak, and I don't want to pickpocket. Really makes it not so good, but what have we got? Set snare. First level deals missile, so this deals missile damage. I'm just checking there's nothing else in there. I think I want to be a ranger. I don't really need to read the rest. Ranger is a warrior and woodsman who is skilled with weapons and knowledgeable about the ways of the forest. The ranger often protects and guides lost travelers and honest peasant folk. A ranger needs to be strong and wise to the ways of nature to live a full life. We could play a nature person, sure. May wear helmets, may wear any armor and use any weapon, may not exceed specialization 2 slots in any weapon class, may achieve specialization 2 slots in any fighting style, begin specialize 2 slots in 2 weapon style, may place a 3rd slot into it, may select a racial enemy, which grants a +4 bonus to hit and damage rolls against the selected enemy race. May use the Charm Animal ability once per day, gains 1 use at level 1 and an additional use every 2 levels thereafter. Okay, I'm not sure how useful that will be as the game goes on. You tend to lose animals as the game goes on like this, because you tend to move into other things, like you start off fighting the wolves, then you start fighting some demon-y things or some goblin-y things. Then you start to fight some construct-y things. That's the way it tends to go. I don't know how this game goes, but that would be how I would imagine it. You fight weirder and weirder things as the game goes on. Because the weirder things tend not to be suitable for low-level enemies. So that's what, and if you're doing a mix of enemies, that tends to be what happens. May use the Hide in Shadows ability while wearing no armor, leather armor or studded leather armor. Okay, so you have a hiding thing anyway. May cast druidic spells starting at level 8. So we have a little spell casting. Alignment restricted to good. Now that's important, because I think that means if our alignment drops from good, we are no longer able to access some of our stuff. Possibly. You might not be able to access any of your class features. And then hit die is a D10. Okay. The other option is obviously fighter, which is just a lot less of an interesting one, but is pretty much there to say, like, I can get huge mastery of a weapon. So Ranger is saying, I'm going to get this plus bonus against enemy races, I'm going to charm people, I'm going to get lots of different styles, I'm going to cast some spells eventually. Fighter is, I'm going to be really good with my bow, and that's my only skill. I'm going to hit people with my bow. Or I'm going to hit people with my sword, or, you know. I think we're going to choose Ranger. It has a lot more options for if I decide at level 8, actually, I don't really like the Ranger stuff, but I really like the spell stuff, I can move into spell casting. If I decide, actually, this bow ain't doing it for me, I can move into using the sword more. There's different options. Yeah, sure, let's choose it. Oh, and we get different options off here. Oh, that's cool. So we have the base Ranger. So a ranger often protects and guides lost travelers. Is that the same as it says there? Yeah, so that's the generic class. Archer. Archer is the epitome of skill with the bow, the ultimate marksman, able to make almost any shot no matter how difficult. To become so skilled with the bow, the archer had to sacrifice some of his proficiency with melee weapons and armor. So you get a +1 to hit and damage rolls with any missile weapon every 3 levels. Okay. So say you hit like level 15, you're getting a +5. May achieve grand mastery in longbows, shortbows, and crossbows. May use the call shot ability once per day, grants 1 use at level 4 and an additional use every 4 levels thereafter. All successful range attacks within the next 10 seconds have the following cumulative effects besides normal damage according to the level of the archer. Alright, so you can apply a ton of negatives to someone. Although, at 12th level you're only lowering the strength score by 1, but anyway. And a +2 bonus to damage roll at level 16, that doesn't sound amazing. So you lose Charm Animal, don't care. You can only become proficient, so you can only become slightly okay with melee weapons. Or you can wear leather, studded armor, and hide armor. Okay. Archer actually sounds better than Ranger right now. I know I said I like that Rangers kind of got all these options, but Archer, it seems really good at what it does. Which I quite like. Stalker. They serve as covert intelligence gatherers, comfortable in both wilderness and urban settings. They are spies, informants, and interrogators, and their mastery of stealth makes them deadly opponents. So you can move silently, you may use the backstab ability, but this is a worse thief. That's what we got here, we got worse thief, basically. And then Beastmaster. This ranger is a wanderer and is not comfortable in civilized lands, therefore he maintains a natural affinity for animals. They are his close friends and comrades in arms, and the Beastmaster has a limited form of telepathic communication with them. So you move silently and hide in shadows. You can find a familiar to summon a pseudo-dragon, if lawful or neutral good, or a fairy dragon if chaotic good. Oh wait, so these ones aren't tied to alignment. Oh, they tied to alignment because of druid. Maybe you can only start casting druidic spells if you're good. Potentially. May not use metal weapons, may not wear armor heavier than studded armor. You know what? I'm thinking we're going to go with Archer. I've changed my mind. I quite like Archer more. I think Archer fits more of what I want to do. I know that I said I could use these spells, but I don't like... The alignment restriction is the thing I actually don't like. Yeah, we'll probably have a companion who fills in the rest. Archer is generally good in any group as well. Like, we're never going to have a group where an Archer isn't a good person to have in it. Yeah, I'm going to choose Archer. Alignment? Oh, we can still only be good. Oh, okay, so maybe I misunderstood class. So maybe you get all of these features, right? And then when you choose Archer, you're actually saying, I get all of these features minus whatever the Archer says you can have. So we might still get druidic spells, we might still get all of that, we might still get this, we can still wear helmets, but that is assumed into here. So it's assumed on this one you can wear helmets, but you can't use the charm animal ability, and you can't become as good as with melee weapons. Sure, I'm with Archer then. Our alignment. Okay, so do you want to be lawful, neutral, or chaotic? These characters believe that the balance of forces is important, but that the concerns of law and chaos do not moderate the need for good. So we just want to be good. We don't care if it's within the law. We don't care if it's not within the law. We just want the virtue of good. Social structure itself has no innate value to them. A baron who violates the orders of his king to destroy something he sees as evil is an example of a neutral good character. Let's be neutral good. That's more interesting than lawful and chaotic, and allows us to pretty much fit in with whatever we like. Although chaotic does give us the thing where we can... yeah, chaotic gives us a little bit more of that, like, I'm fighting for the good people and I'm using whatever means necessary kind of thing going on there. I don't know. I'm going to choose neutral. Abilities. So, let's just go through these to make sure I'm right. Strength measures a character's muscle, endurance, and stamina as the prime requisite of fighters. Dexterity measures hand-eye coordination, agility, reflexes, and balance is the prime requisite of the thief. Constitution is of the ranger. Why is this one important to ranger? Fitness, health, and physical resistance to hardship, injury, and disease. That doesn't sound useful to ranger. That sounds useful to a tank, of which our ranger is not. Or maybe a normal ranger is important too. Intelligence is for mages, and if you have less than 8, you're illiterate and you can't use scrolls. Okay. Wisdom measures a character's enlightenment, judgment, and common sense. It's prerequisite of priests. And charisma, character's persuasiveness, personal magnetism, and ability to lead is important for druid, bard, and paladin. We just click reroll if we wanted to. Yeah, let's roll it. Yeah, let's roll our stats. I don't know. Ooh, wow. Why does that say 1812? What does that even mean? 1860? I see, I don't know what these mean when it says like 18/12, 18/60. I don't know. I get the feeling we're going to want dex. So I was just clicking it while I thought about it. Actually, what I want to do... Oh, wait. So you can reroll so you can get higher points. Oh. Okay. Interesting. What an odd way to do that. Anyway, I don't need that much intelligence. I'll take an extra point in charisma. So I could push... I think I want max dex. And then... You know, maybe I will put an extra point in con. There you go. There's what we got. We got... That stat line seems alright for me. Maybe we don't need that much wisdom. I can't lower wisdom any lower than 14. Oh, okay then. Cool. Works for me. Done. Skills. So our skills. So we have move silently and we have hide in shadows naturally. Just as the ability we can hide and we can move silently. Cool. So what do we want? I want the ability to use our... So what's 2 weapon style? So we already have... We're 2 points in that, which is... We're efficient... Oh, we are... Specialized. Wielders' penalties are reduced to 0 with the main hand weapon and -4 for the offhand. Okay. So most we could ever become is mastered. But 2 weapon style allows the character to use 2 melee weapons at the same time with fewer penalties. Okay. If we put a point into that, that puts us at 3. Okay. So it means we get -2. I might do that, yeah. And then, do I want to use the short bow or the long bow? So, long bow, we use it with no weapons. So I probably actually want a point in each. So we get a +1 to hit and a +2 to damage. Okay, warriors get an extra half attack per round with these things. Interesting. Okay, so it's more easily concealed than the longbow in the hands of a skilled user, just as deadly. So this is for people who can't use the longbow, actually. That's what it says. This is for people who can't use longbow, you'll use shortbow. So I might as well use the longbow then. Or I could use the crossbow. I don't know what we get. I'm going to go longbow. I'm assuming we're going to get one of those. And then maybe I'll put a point in crossbow in case we get one. So we can use it without a penalty. So we'll do best. We'll get an extra +1 to hit with the longbow, but who cares? Like, if we have a better crossbow, we know what the negative is. And then 2 weapon style is good if we need to switch to melee. Done. Racial enemy. Who is gonna be our enemy? We just choose dragon. Just like straight up. I don't care about this. I don't care about this. I don't care about this. Also, this pretty much tells you what's gonna be in the game, doesn't it? This entire list. There's gotta be all of these in the game. Otherwise, why would you put them on the list? Dragon is interesting because it's pretty much just saying, I don't care, I just want late game. Well, you could choose something like Gnoll or Ghoul or Hobgoblin or something and say, I'm going to deal with the early game. Skeleton could be interesting because it's... I don't know, are skeletons hard to hit for a bow? I don't know whether there's some pierce thing that might go on here. Demonic or fell? all are malevolent and powerful. I mean, if we're someone who's good, that might work. You know, we'll have demonic as our racial enemy. Appearance. I don't know. We have kind of brownish hair. Let's see, like that. This isn't really going to matter too much because, you know, how often are we going to be this close and looking at our character? I would not imagine that much. Like that? Clothing. This is going to matter more. It's going to be what shows up. Now let's have, like, red. Very difficult to select red here. There we go. Red. And white. There we go. That kind of works. Done. Ooh, voices.
Onward! Death to you all! Your life ends here.
Time for a bit of the rough and tumble.
You got this coming! Let's give them a right thrashing.
Well, of course. I grow torpid and require slumber.
Oh, definitely. I grow torpid and require slumber. And his name, the name of this elven archer, he is going to be called... oh, I'm not even in the typing bit. There we go. He is going to be called... I don't know. He's going to be called Felix. There we go. He's Felix the Elven Archer. You know what? He's Elven. He's Felix. He's Felix. Felix. Done. So, that is character creation. We have a character. Hopefully, they should be capable of surviving whatever comes at us. And the only other thing is what difficulty we're playing on. I don't know whether when I click accept, whether the game is just going to immediately start. But we're going to be playing on core rules, which is, I believe, minus... I think that's just normal damage. I could be wrong. I'm going to click accept. If it starts the game, it starts the game. And I'll go back off camera. Oh, there we go. Cool. Perfect. It says venture forth. We're going to play core rules, which is pretty much party members can permanently die. Spells aren't guaranteed to be copied spell books. Enemies deal full damage. Now, just because party members can permanently die doesn't mean that we're going to play through the game and lose all of our party members immediately. The way I'm going to be playing it is essentially, if a party member dies, that's a fail. As in, that is an immediate party member has died. That is, you know, that is a game over state for us. And that's how I'm going to be playing it. Unless, of course, there's a situation where the party member dies and it's legitimate. Say there's a story-based reason for a party member to die, that's slightly different. But anyway, that's what we're going to be going with. Right. So, I'm going to end the episode there. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll join me in about 2 or 3 minutes for the first episode. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.